Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Bol. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Bhagavati Vasudha Devi Dasi from Bangalore, India. Please forgive me for stopping all of you from ecstatic chanting. Now let us move on to the next part of the session. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name given by Vasudeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures and portions of the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. 9. To instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. So once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. May I know who are joining the call today?
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from
Hare Krishna Indulekha Karna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaji. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas. Mataji, thank you so much for your services, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. This is Sundarangi Radha Devi Dasi from India. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Sundarangi Radha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Okay. I welcome all of you once again. Thank you everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call.
Mataji, we can chant until Prabhuji joins.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Prabhuji is there.
Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, everyone. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Gaur Vilas Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 8.20.2 onwards. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association in this Bhakti Sangha conference call. We are really fortunate to have you on this call. And I hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you all the devotees for this opportunity to serve. This is the beginning of prayer. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitanam Shri Gurave Namaः. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamanyam Dadati Svavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Dalita Shri Shakhanvitamsha Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, so welcome everyone. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 20, text number 2 today. I'll recite the verse. Shri Baliruvacha Satyam Bhagavata Proktam Dharmoyam Grahamedhinam Artham Kamam Yasho Vrittim Yona Badheta Karhichit. Translation. Bali Maharaj said, as you have stated, the principle of religion that does not hinder one's economic development, sense gratification, fame, and means of livelihood is a real occupational duty of the householder. I also think that this religious principle is correct. Purport. Bali Maharaj's grave answer to Shukracharya is meaningful. Shukracharya stressed that one's material means of livelihood and one's material reputation, sense gratification, and economic development must continue properly. To see to this is the first duty of a man who is a householder, especially one who is interested in material affairs. If a religious principle does not affect one's material condition, it is to be accepted. At the present time, in this age of Kali, this idea is extremely prominent. No one is prepared to accept any religious principle if it hampers material prosperity. Shukracharya, being a person of this material world, did not know the principles of a devotee. A devotee is determined to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead to his full satisfaction. Anything that hampers such determination should certainly be rejected. This is the principle of bhakti. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. Madhya Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita 100 verse. To perform devotional service, one must accept only that which is favorable and reject that which is unfavorable. Bali Maharaj had the opportunity to contribute everything he possessed to the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadev. But Shukracharya was putting forward a material argument to hamper this process of devotional service. Under the circumstances, Bali Maharaj decided that Such hindrances should certainly be avoided. In other words, he decided immediately to reject the advice of Shukracharya and go on with his duty. Thus, he gave all his possessions to Lord Vamana Dev. Hare Krishna. So this is a very, very beautiful section of Bhagavatam where the symptoms of surrender is being described. Atma Nivedan. Bali Maharaj, he represents Atma Nivedan, the ninth limb of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. He gave up everything to please the Lord. Such high standards of devotional service is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita, it is just a preliminary study where Krishna gave the principles. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Bhagavatam gives the examples of such devotees who followed this principle. Sarva dharman parityajya. That is Atma Nivedan, that is the surrender which Bali Maharaj is showing in this verse. And this exclusive surrender to Lord Krishna, that is must for advancing in devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while instructing Sanatana Goswami, he spoke this beautiful verse which Srila Prabhupada is quoting in the purport. And he described how one should unhesitatingly abandon all attachments and take exclusive shelter of Krishna. Krishnaika Sharana. Krishnaika Sharana is must. Now this word Krishnaika Sharana looks very, very difficult to accept for sadhaka who has started practicing Krishna consciousness since last few years. Basically, we are talking about a person who is on the level of Madhyama Adhikari. How to understand this? Are we practicing this surrender? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told that there is only one person worth surrendering. Bhakta Vatsala Kritagya Samartha Vadanya Hena Krishna Chadi Pandit Nahi Bhajayanya. Anybody who is a learned person, he never gives up Krishna, who is Bhakta Vatsala, Kritagya, Samartha and Vadanya. He is very affectionate to his devotees. He is very, very grateful to his devotees. This is very wonderful quality of Krishna. He is grateful to his devotees. Bhakta Vatsala Kritagya. Why he is grateful? In Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says there are 4 types of people who come to me. Arto, Artharthi, Jigyasu, Gyani. He says, all these are Udaraha Sarva Evaite. They are all magnanimous. Krishna is so very grateful. Why they are magnanimous? Because they have come to me. They could have gone to Devta's house. But Krishna, he is grateful. Anybody who surrenders to Krishna is so very grateful to that person. Bhakta Vatsala Kritagya Samartha Vadanya. And he is capable to give shelter. He is worth taking shelter. Sharanya. And he is Vadanya. He is magnanimous. Then who will not take shelter of Krishna? Hena Krishna, such wonderful Krishna. How can somebody leave Krishna and Bhajayanya? It is not so wonderful. There Mahaprabhu quotes a verse from a 10th canto where when Krishna enters the house of Akrura, he is so very grateful. Akrura is overwhelmed. Ka pandita param sharanam samiyat. Ka pandita, who is that learned person who would give you up and surrender to somebody else? Ka panditaspadaparam sharanam samiyat. Who will give up your shelter? Who will not surrender to you? Who will take shelter of any other people unless he's a fool? Because Bhakta Priya, you are very affectionate to your devotees. Ritagira means you are always truthful and a grateful friend. Ritagira Surida Kritagya. So this verse is very, very wonderful, where Akrura is telling you, you are so very grateful, you are affectionate, and you are such a wonderful friend. You fulfill all the desires of your devotees. Sarvan dadati surido bhajato bhikaman. You fulfill all the desires of your devotees to such an extent that you give yourself to your devotee. Atmanam api. Who will not take shelter of Krishna? So that's how any intelligent, learned person will surely take shelter of Krishna. And there, Mahaprabhu in the Madhya Lila, he quotes this verse spoken by Uddhava, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. That Baki, that Putana came to kill Krishna. He gave her the position of Dhatri. Kamava Dayalum Sharanam Brajema. How can I go to anyone else and take shelter of that person? Then Mahaprabhu quotes this verse, which describes the 6 symptoms of surrender. This verse, it is very, very important to understand. Unfortunately, what we are seeing now, even in the midst of devotees, because the philosophical understanding is not so proper, so many times the devotees, although they are practicing Krishna consciousness, they are not able to follow the basic fundamental principles of pure bhakti. So we'll be discussing something very, very important today about this principle of pure devotional service. What is this pure devotional service? When Mahaprabhu, he quoted this verse, Anya Abhilash, he says, Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwaso gopatritve varnam tatha atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha sharanagati. This word surrender, it is a very, very big word. It looks very big. And most of us feel, and of course we should feel, that we are not yet surrendered. But that feeling should not bring us from the level of pure devotional practice to a level of mixed devotional practice. We'll discuss more about it. What is this pure devotional service? What is this mixed devotional service? Anukulyasya sankalpa, accept whatever is favorable. Pratikulyasya varjanam, reject what is unfavorable. Rakshishyati iti vishwaso, a devotee should have a firm conviction that Krishna will give protection. And Gopatritve Varnam Tatha is a very important word. What is Gopatritve Varnam Tatha? Gopatritve means self-surrender. And then, this word self-surrender looks so very far out. But if you read the translation Srila Prabhupada gives about this verse, we'll be amazed to see what is self-surrender. Because just to have a quick question to all of you, how many of you feel the self-surrender we are able to follow now? If you are able to follow self-surrender, then you can raise your hands. And then we'll see what is the definition of Srila Prabhupada for this word Gopatritve. Oh, nobody is raising hands. Self-surrender. It looks a very difficult word, right? But better than speaking the translation, I'll just share the same translation of Srila Prabhupada as he says, that is Madhya Lila, 22nd chapter. He describes that in verse number 100. Prabhupada writes a beautiful definition of what is self-surrender, because it is very, very important to understand this self-surrender. Otherwise, we without our understanding, we are dragged to a platform of mixed devotional service. We end up worshipping devatas for our problems, for our material solutions, for our problems in our astrology, for so many other things. We may do all the other rituals also, just because we are not able to understand this word surrender. Keeping too much faith in all the sciences of the Vedic sciences like astrology, Vastu, and all that. So I'll just share this.
Did you want us to share?
So Prabhupada is writing here, what is self-surrender? So please hear this very carefully. Self-surrender means remembering that one's activities and desires are not independent. Now, hearing this definition, how many of you feel you are practicing this self-surrender? Self-surrender means remembering that one's activities and desires are not independent. At least we remember. How many of us remember that our activities and our desires are not independent of Krishna? We are dependent on Krishna. So this is a very, very important definition, self-surrender. Because self-surrender means the devotee feels, means giving up everything, whatever, Krishna demands. But here Prabhupada writes a simple definition of self-surrender. Remembering one's as a practicing devotee, practicing practitioner of sadhana bhakti, you have to understand these principles. Otherwise, we'll never be able to come to the next level of Krishna consciousness. So as Prabhupada writes in this purport about this Bhagavatam purport about Anya Abhilashita Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulyasya Varjanam. And this Gopatritve Varnam, that is very, very important. What is this Gopatritve? This is our real wealth. One time, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he made one statement, when we surrender, that's where we get our strength from. What is this surrender all about? And are we practicing pure devotional service? Okay, again, a question to all of you. How many of you feel you are practicing pure devotional service? You can raise your hands, or you can put on the chat. How many of us feel we are practicing pure devotional service? The definition of pure devotional service is Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyana Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktiruttama. That's the definition of pure devotional service. So how many of us feel that we are practicing pure devotional service? Okay, only one devotee feels that we are practicing pure devotional service.
Hare Krishna,
Okay,
Prabhuji, we are
so
practicing, but we are not to that level. We are practicing it. We are practicing it, but we are not to that level. So I don't know if you say yes or no for that.
Yeah, that's the problem. We feel that I'm practicing something, but I'm not practicing pure devotional service. Okay, and what about others? Okay, work in progress. Okay. Everybody please contribute, because this is a very important question. Are we practicing pure devotional service? Or are we practicing something else? Because we are not at that level, as some of you are saying. Maybe others don't want to say anything because they are confused what to say. Okay, take it. So now, the definition of pure devotional service is Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. So in this definition, which is given by Rupa Goswami in Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu, there are two parts of this verse. There is a primary characteristic of pure bhakti and secondary characteristic of pure devotional service, uttama bhakti. So primary characteristic of pure devotional service is anukulyena krishnanushilanam. That is a primary. If this is not there, then it is not bhakti at all. If something is to be called as bhakti, that should be anukulyena, and that should be Krishna anushilanam. It should be favorable, it should be for Krishna, and it should be continuous. That is the primary definition of bhakti. And what makes this bhakti as uttama bhakti? Anya abhilashita shunyam and gyana karmadi anavritam. So now, anya abhilashita shunya means I have no other desires than to worship and please Krishna. And Jnana Karmadi Anavrita means it is not covered by Jnana and Karma. So now, why Rupa Goswami has used this word Anya Abhilashita and not Anya Abhilasha? Because Anya Abhilasha means no desires other than serving Krishna. But what about the desire for self-protection? What about desire for the welfare of our family and children and our relatives? Is it included in pure devotional service? Any thoughts? If somebody desires welfare of their family, children, and good health for their family, is it included in pure devotional service? Is this desire pure devotional service desire?
Yes, Prabhu.
Or okay, sir. So why uses this word Anya Abhilashita? Because if he would have used this word Abhilasha, that means no desires at all. That means if a devotee prays for one's own well-being, prays for the well-being of the family, that means he's not practicing pure devotion. They are pure devotion. It's like when Draupadi, she was under trouble. She called out to Krishna. Agre kuruna mata pandavanam dushyasanena ritavastrakesha Krishna tada kroshadananyanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. She called out, "Oh Govinda Damodara Madhava, please protect me." So to protect these devotees who are calling out for their self-preservation, or when Uttara called out to Krishna, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Nanyatvat Abhayam Pashye Yatra Mrityu Parasparam, "Oh Krishna, please save my child." So all these desires are included in pure devotional service desire. And what about Jnana Karmadi Anavritam? Here, the Gyan is not the Gyan which we are discussing. We are also discussing this Gyana, the Gyan of Bhakti. This Gyan is a Gyan of pure devotion, a Gyan of impersonal knowledge. Our Bhakti should not be affected by the impersonal Gyana. And what about Karma? Karma means one should not be affected by there are various types of karma. Nitya karma, Naimittika karma. Nitya karma means Sandhya, 3 times Sandhya Vandan. Naimittika karma means periodic activities like Shraddha. So all these, if they are done only for materialistic, purposes, thinking that if I will not do this, then my devotional service is not so good, then it is not pure devotional service. Jnana karmadi anavritam. So this is the definition of Anya Abhilashita, pure devotional service. That desire, the desire to please the Lord, Krishna Anushilanam. Krishna Anushilana means for Krishna. It should be favorable for Krishna. So now, as some of you said, we are not practicing pure devotional service, or some are confused what type of devotional service we are doing. If we are not practicing pure devotional service, then are we practicing mixed devotional service? Because there are only two things. Either your bhakti is pure or it is mixed. So if those of you who said we are not practicing pure devotional service, then are we practicing mixed devotional service? Now, to explain what is mixed devotional service, first we'll see what is mixed devotional service. Kapila Dev, he tells his mother Devahuti what is mixed devotional service. It comes in third canto, where Kapila Dev describes bhakti in sattva guna, bhakti in rajo guna, bhakti in tamo guna. So what is bhakti in tamo guna? So he says, Abhisandhaya yo himsam dambham matsaryam eva va samrambhi bhinna drik bhavam maikuryat satamasaha. He says, a person who is angry, devoid of compassion, and he worships me with intention of violence, pride, and hatred. He is performing tamasi bhakti. Okay, so how many of you feel you are practicing tamasi bhakti? Nobody, right? We don't practice devotional service with the intention of violence, pride, and hatred towards somebody. So we are not practicing tamasi bhakti. Are we practicing rajasi bhakti? What is rajasi bhakti? Vishayanabhisandhaya yasha aishwaryameva va archadav archayedyo mam prithak bhavam sarajasa. My archa, one who worships me, worships my deities with the desire. That means the primary intention of this devotee is Vishaya, Yasha, Aishwarya. He wants material gain, he wants fame, and he wants wealth. That is a primary intention. His intention is not to please the Lord. How many of us feel that we are in that level? Rajasi Bhakti. Practically nobody. Now, what is Satviki Bhakti? Karma niraharam uddeshya parasmin va tadarpanam yajed yashtavyamiti va pratak bhavam sa satvikaha. He says, a person who worships me with a desire to destroy his karmic activities, karmic reactions. He wants to achieve liberation. Liberation means impersonal liberation. He is practicing Satviki Bhakti. Now, how many of us feel we are practicing Satviki Bhakti? So, as none of you are raising hands or saying anything, I assume that none of us are practicing Rajasi Bhakti, Tamasi Bhakti, Satviki Bhakti. And many devotees are also confused. They are saying we are not practicing pure devotional service also. So what type of devotional service we are practicing? If we are not practicing pure devotional service, if we are not practicing mixed devotional service, then what type of devotional service we are practicing? So somebody may say we are practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. That is what we have heard. We are practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Now the question is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti Uttama Bhakti? How many of you feel this Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is Uttam Bhakti? Yes, any thoughts? Is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, whatever we are practicing, Sadhana Bhakti has Vaidhi Sadhana and Raganuga Sadhana. Is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti Uttam Bhakti? Or it is mixed devotion?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have heard Prema Bhakti is the Uttama.
Okay, Prem Bhakti is Uttam Bhakti. So what are we practicing? What is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti?
We are practicing Uttama Bhakti, following the rules and regulations of the Shastras. So it is called Vaidhi Bhakti, but it is pure devotional services as per the injunctions laid down in Bhakti Shastras. Hare Krishna.
You said two different things, Mataji. Earlier you said Prem Bhakti is Uttam Bhakti.
No,
And
it
now
was
you...
not me. I think some other Mataji.
Oh, sorry, somebody
was
else said.
saying
Okay.
we are practicing Uttama Bhakti, just that we are
Correct.
not following the what do you call the Nitya Siddhas or the Gopis Bhav. We are
That
following
is
the
Bhav Bhakti.
Vaidhi Shastras. Yeah. So it is Uttama
I'm not
Bhakti.
talking
That
about
is.
I'm not talking about the Raganuga sadhana or
Yeah, we are not
Vaidhi.
Raganuga sadhanas, but we are Vaidhi
Huh.
sadhanas because we are following the Vidhi, the
Yeah.
Shastras as
So
prescribed
is
in the
Vaidhi
Bhakti.
sadhana bhakti Uttama Bhakti?
Yes.
Is
Because this will
so
gradually lead to transitioning to Bhava and Prema at a later stage by the mercy of the eternal associates of Lord Radha Krishna Chandra.
okay. ठीक है. Any other thoughts?
Yes, Prabhu, we are practicing
Hare Krishna.
sadhana bhakti, but the intensity may not be there. It is pure, but the intensity may not be there.
Okay, great. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts on this? Are we practicing pure devotional service? Uttam Bhakti. Is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti Uttam Bhakti? Because this is a very, very important concept. Why I'm emphasizing this? Because nowadays I'm seeing in the devotee community that many devotees, they put so much emphasis on all the Vedic rituals and the Vedic sciences like Vastu, astrology, so, and the principles of pure devotional services are completely set aside, not even acknowledging that what is the power of pure devotional service, what Srila Prabhupada said about pure devotional service, what our current acharyas are talking about pure devotional service. So that is very, very important to understand. Yes, somebody was saying something.
Hare Krishna. So probably like you had explained that there are, now we can practice devotional service in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So depending on our objective, how we approach the Vedi Sadhana Bhakti, depending on what our goal is. Suppose if it is liberation, so our Vedi Sadhana Bhakti is going to be under the mode of goodness. But suppose if it is to
Okay,
attain
just a
Krishna
minute,
Prem and
Mataji.
to please Guru and Krishna, then
Just a minute,
the
Mataji.
same Vedi Sadhana
Just a
Bhakti.
minute. Just a question. Okay, just a minute.
Yes,
A question to all the devotees. Any of the devotee who is practicing, chanting the names of the Lord, who has learned the principles of bhakti, will any devotee practice bhakti with a desire to get liberation? Will any devotee practice bhakti only for getting some name, fame in this world? We may have our anarthas, which may push us to get these things, but is that our primary intention? That makes a bhakti mixed bhakti. The primary intention is what? We may be pushed by our anarthas to get name, fame, prestige, but is that our primary intention? That is the most important word here. Abhisandhaya, prithak bhav. What is our prithak bhav? What is our intention? So that is very important to understand, and that this is exploited by many devotees who don't understand pure devotional service. Just like one time, in one of the very senior meetings in our ISKCON society, one devotee was presenting Varnashram system. And he said, look, Varnashrama is meant for those who are not pure devotees, those who are still in the modes, those who are not surrendered. So now, how many of you are surrendered to Krishna? So naturally, who will raise the hands? So then nobody raised the hand. And this is happening in a big circle. Everybody said, nobody raised the hand. So he said, see, none of us are pure devotees. Therefore, Varnashram should be followed by everyone. This is what has happened. So that's how pure devotional principles are very systematically pushed aside, because we are not able to understand what Rupa Goswami talks about in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about pure devotion. What is this pure devotion? Are we practicing pure devotion? That's the question. If we are not practicing mixed devotion, if we are not practicing pure devotion, somebody may say, well, I am practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So, what is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti? Is it not pure devotion? The fact that Rupa Goswami mentions this Uttama Bhakti definition in the section of Sadhana Bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he very clearly mentions that Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, he quotes a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. He says, Jata Shraddho Mat Kathasu Nirvinnaha Sarva Karmasu Veda Dukkhatmakan Kaman Parityagopyanishwaraha Tato Bhajeta Mam Prita Shraddhalo Dृढ़ Nishchaya Jushamanascha Tan Kaman Dukkho Darkam Shagarahyan. In this verse, Krishna says, my devotee who has just started practicing devotional service, his faith in my pastimes has risen. Jata Shraddho, birth. He has awakened his faith in the process of bhakti. Nirvinna Sarva Karma. He has no inclination for jnana, karma, yoga, sarva. He knows sense gratification leads to misery. But still he can't give it up. Parityagopyanishwara. That means he's a sadhaka. He's not a perfected being. But you know what he does? He repents. Garhayan means he repents. But then Krishna gives instructions to sadhakas. He says, Tato bhajet mam. He should worship me with prita, in a happy mood, with faith, shraddhalu, and dridhanishchaya, with determination. Don't give up. So this is actually this bhajan, that is Uttama Bhakti which is described by Krishna. This sadhaka, he should do this Uttama Bhakti even if he falls down. This Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Rupa Goswami describes that this Anushilanam, continuous devotional service. Rupa Goswami is so very wonderful. He says, Anushilana means continuous. Somebody will say, I'm not doing continuous devotional service. I'm not chanting the names of the Lord always. Rupa Goswami says, what is Anushilanam for a sadhaka? At least you remember once a day or for fixed duration of time. That is Uttama Bhakti for a sadhaka. So that's how we have to understand the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. That is Uttama Bhakti. It is not mixed devotion, because our primary intention is to please the Lord. We may be pushed by our desires to do some sense gratification, but that does not make us a lesser devotee. That does not mean I'm practicing mixed devotion or I am not practicing pure devotion because I have so many anarthas. We are not pure because we have anarthas, but the bhakti which we are practicing is pure. So therefore, we should follow all the rules and regulations of pure devotional service. Never ever think of putting our faith in all the other Vedic sciences, giving up the principles of pure devotional service. Performing devotional service while being embarrassed by the material desires in the form of anarthas. That is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And that is pure bhakti. That is Uttama Bhakti. And if somebody performs devotional service to fulfill those material desires, then it is mixed devotion. Then it is not pure devotion. So now, how many of you feel we are practicing pure devotional service? And as we have heard the definition of pure devotional service, now how many of you feel that we are practicing pure devotional service and not practicing mixed devotion? Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, it is actually a pure devotional service. So when it is described that we have to surrender, then only we can practice all these, then only we can give up all the Vedic rituals. We have that pure faith. This purity is about the purity of faith. It's not the purity of our consciousness because we are not pure yet, but our faith is pure. As I think Sugopi Mataji or somebody said, we may not be intense in our devotional practices. That intensity may not be so much, but that is a pure intensity. That is a pure faith. Our faith may be very small, but that small faith is a pure faith. It may become mixed faith if we are not careful. And there are instances we are seeing in our devotee community that we tend to go to all the other Vedic rituals and making our faith mixed faith. Because we start depending on all the other devatas. We start depending on all the other Vedic rituals. And you know what will happen if we start taking shelter of the devatas for some of the problems like Vastu and all that? Krishna says, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarchitum ichchati tasya tasya achala shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. Krishna says, if somebody puts his faith in some devata or some process, I will make his faith strong in that process. We are risking our faith. We will not practice then pure devotional service. Our faith will become mixed. So that's how it is so very important to understand these principles of pure devotional service. That is a real treasure. That is a real wealth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada and our current acharyas, they have come to give us this real, very rare jewel. That is a real wealth we have. So we should keep it very carefully, sacred way. Otherwise, we may lose it. If we are not careful, we may lose it. This is the real wealth of our entire existence. Otherwise, it is so very easy to get distracted in this path of devotional service. There are so many seniors also we have heard that they may say, you can go to these sciences because they are Vedic sciences, and you have this problem in your chart, so you worship this Rahu or Ketu and you do this puja and then you follow devotional service only. Now what's the problem? We are not telling you to stop practicing chanting. Just solve your problems of your life and then you worship Krishna only. No, it is not so simple. It is not like going to a doctor and solving our health problems. Going to devatas and going to a doctor to solve our material problems, there is difference. When we go to devatas to solve our material problems, it comes under the category of deva. There are 5 things which affects our actions. Adhishthanam tathakarata karanam cha prathak vidham vividhascha prathak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. Daiva. We start depending on Daiva, Devatas, and our faith will be contaminated. We have to be really careful to protect our faith. That is our real position. That's the only position we have, our faith. That's a treasure of a devotee. If we lose our faith, then everything else is Shramayevahi Kevalam. So we have to be really careful. Mahaprabhu tells in that section of 22nd chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says that one who attains immortality, when he gives up all the material activities and dedicates his life to the execution of Krishna's order, then he becomes fit to enjoy spiritual bliss derived from exchanging loving mellows with me. Krishna speaks to Uddhava. In another place, he says, actually, this is the real wealth of our devotee. This is the real treasure of a devotee. He says, yeah. He talks about that in the 104th fourth verse. He says, by sadhana bhakti, one attains the highest perfection of love of God. This Shraddha gradually takes one to Prema, which is the treasure. So we have to be really careful. What is our real treasure? Krishna is our real treasure. Pure devotional service is our real treasure. And if we are not careful, we may lose it. An unfortunate thing will be we may not even realize that we are losing it. So that is the very, very important thing we have to be careful of. Because the influence of material energy and Maya knows how to cheat a devotee. And if we are not careful, this path of spiritual life, as we have heard, Shurasya Dhara Nishita Duratyaya Durgam Patastat Kavayo Vadanti. The spiritual life is like walking on a razor's edge. There are so many opinions, what to do, what not to do. Mahajano yena gata sapanta. Always follow Srila Prabhupada and the pure devotees of the Lord, the Acharyas. Are they recommending this? Has Srila Prabhupada any time recommended anyone to take shelter of these other things? If not, why we should put our faith? No, Srila Prabhupada was a pure devotee. I am not pure, so I have to do all this. So at which level I will say that I have become pure? Will any devotee say ever that now I have become pure? Now I will not depend on all these Vedic rituals. Now I will only depend on Krishna. So we have to understand what is this purity which Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas and Krishna is talking about. This purity is the purity of faith. Purity of faith means I will not go to any other devata. That is what Prabhupada also writes in that self-surrender. I'll again read that. Self-surrender means remembering that one's activities and desires are not independent. A devotee is completely dependent on Krishna. And then that is actually Karpanye, Atma Nikshep. That is Atma Nikshep. And before that, there's a beautiful verse, Gopatritve Varnam. Gopatritve Varnam is also important to understand. Gopatritve Varnam Tatha means accepting that Krishna is the maintainer and the master. He is my master. He is my maintainer. Prabhupada writes in that. One should not think that he is being protected by a demigod. I'll just share that also. Yeah. A devotee should accept Krishna as his supreme maintainer and master. Should not think that he is being protected by a demigod. You should depend only on Krishna, considering him to the only protector. When we go to devatas to solve our material problems, we are risking our faith. We are diluting our devotional service. We are making it impure. We are not able to follow then Gopatritve. And as soon as we start practicing this, for sure tests will come. Krishna will surely test us. Have we understood? Some problems may come in our life. But in those situations, if we depend on Krishna, Krishna will make our faith strong in devotional practice. I will not go to anything. I'll pray to Lord Narasimhadev. He is my protector. He has come. He is always there to protect my devotees, protect his devotees. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes in one of his book, Navadip Mahatmya, in that he says, actually Navadip Bhavataranga, he has written a book, Navadip Bhavataranga. And in that he mentions that worship of Lord Narasimhadev is must for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It is not an option. It is must. One should worship Narasimhadev because Narasimhadev is a protector of our faith. He may protect our body, but he will surely protect our faith. And he speaks 5 beautiful verses. Ei dushta hridaya kamadiri puchai, kutinati pratishtha shashatya sadare, hridaya shodhanara krishnera vasana, narasimha charane more to kamana. What a devotee should pray to Lord Nrsimhadev. He says, "Oh my Lord, my heart is wicked, full of lust, anger, greed. All the anarthas are there. Desire for name, fame, prestige, diplomacy, it is already there. Putinati, Pratishtasha. I have two prayers to make. Hridaya Shodhana and Krishnera Vasana. Purify my heart and give me desire to serve Krishna. Hridaya Shodhanara Krishnera Vasana. Narasimha Charane More Eito Kamana. This is the only desire I have at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev. This is the first verse. Second, he says, Kandiya Nrsimha Pade Magivo Kakhana Nirapade Navadipe Jugala Bhajana. He says, when will that day come when I'll cry at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev and I'll ask for what I'll ask? Navadipe Yugal Bhajan. I want to worship Krishna, Radha Krishna, but not anywhere else. I want to worship Radha Krishna in Navadipa. That is complete Gaudi of in a mood. Navadipe, Nirapade Navadipe Jugala Bhajana. Bhaya Bhaya Payara Darshane Se Hari Prasanna Hoi Bokave More Dayakari. When that Lord Nrsimhadev be pleased upon me, because fear personified fears Nrsimhadev. And then, as I am offering this prayer, Nrsimhadev, he will be pleased upon me. He will say, Yadyapi Bhishanamurti, and then one more verse he says, Yadyapi Bhishanamurti Dushtajiva Prati Prahladadi Krishna Bhakta Jane Bhadrati. For non-devotees, Nrsimhadev is very fearsome. But for Krishna devotees, Prahladadi Krishna Bhakta Bhadrati is very affectionate. Kabeva prasanna hoye sakripa vachane nirbhay koribo ei mudho akinchane. When Lord Nrsimhadev will make me fearless. And when will he speak these beautiful words to me? What will he speak? Swachanda Baisho Hevatsa Sri Gauranga Dhame Jugal Bhajana Ho Rati Ho Name. Swachanda Baisho Hevatsa, oh my child, please be in Navadipa fearlessly, without any anxiety. Swachanda Baisho Hevatsa Sri Gauranga Dhame. And what do you do there? Jugala Bhajana Ho Rati Ho Name. May you have love for the chanting of the names of the Lord. May you have devotion unto Radha Krishna. Complete Gaudiya. Ei boli kabe more mastake upar, swiya Sri Charana Harished Haribe Ishwara. When will that day come? When the Lord will speak all these beautiful words and he will put his lotus feet on my head. Amani Jugala Preme Satvika Vikare Dharaya Lutipoami Sri Nrsimhadvare. When will that day come when I'll roll in ecstasy at the doors of Nrsimhadev's temple? That is our shelter. Nrsimhadev will not go to any other devata. We respect all these devatas, we respect all the other devatas, no problem with that. But for whatever problems, for our material problems, our spiritual problems, I will go to Krishna only. I will not mix my faith, because this is a real treasure I have received. And problems may come, but problem comes anyways in life, whether you are a devotee or not. If we are not careful, our problems may land up making us a mixed devotee. So therefore, this wonderful process of devotional service which we have received, we should be very, very careful to protect this. This faith which we have received, the faith which Bali Maharaj is showing, his guru is telling him to not give to Krishna. And Bali Maharaj became a Mahajan because he rejected his guru, because his Guru is not telling him to surrender to Krishna. That is the Atmanivedan. So we have to take this risk, this leap of faith. Everyone will be tested for sure. I am speaking all this. Tests will come for everyone. Krishna will surely test our faith. Krishna tests three things in life of his devotees. Just like Parikshit Maharaj was tested 3 times by Shukadeva Goswami. Once he tested the philosophical understanding of Parikshit Maharaj. In the beginning of 6th canto, Parikshit Maharaj asked, how will these people who are suffering in hell, how will they be delivered? Shukadeva Goswami said, they'll do prayashchitta. Parikshit says, this is Kunjara Shauchava, this is elephant bathing. Okay, they'll practice jnana. Oh, just by looking at the expression of Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami himself says, that is Venu Gulma Mivanala. The trees, the bamboos are burnt in the forest fire. In the next rainy season, again it will come because the roots are still intact. And then he spoke Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya. So Parikshit Maharaj accepted it. Parikshit Maharaj passed this test. Philosophy, are you understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness? Or you will accept karma also or jnana also? The another thing Shukadeva Goswami tested is the eagerness of Parikshit. In the end of the 9th canto, Shukadeva Goswami summarized entire 90 chapters of 10th canto in 2 verses. And Parikshit Maharaj, he said, oh Shukadeva Goswami, please don't summarize. I am sitting here to hear 90 chapters, you are speaking only 2 verses. Nivritta Tarshay Rupa Giyamana Bhavaushada Shrotra Manobirama Kaha Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada Puman Virajeta Vinapa Shubnath. Who will give up hearing the topics of Krishna? Who can be satisfied hearing about Krishna? Don't think I am hungry and thirsty. You keep on speaking about Krishna. Will be tested. Are we eager? And third thing will be tested is Shukadeva Goswami. At the end of 12th canto, he didn't glorify bhakti. He glorified jnana and he left. He was testing the loyalty of Parikshit towards the process of bhakti. Okay, jnana is also okay. Parikshit Maharaj continued to practice devotional service. We will be tested for our loyalty. So that's how all these things are very, very important to understand. And Bali Maharaj in this section, he is showing such high levels. In one of the verses, it will come after Bali Maharaj was punished. He was bound by Nagapash, Varuna Pash, humiliated in front of his wife, children, entire kingdom. He tells Vamanadev, oh my Lord, in the past, many superiors have punished their subordinates. Many fathers have punished their sons, but none of them have punished like you have punished me. Pumsam shlagyatamam manye dandam arhatam arpitam yamnamata pita bhrata suridascha dishanti. So Bali Maharaj, even after surrendering, he was humiliated. He was tested still. Vamandev didn't stop testing Bali Maharaj. He bound Bali Maharaj, humiliated him more. So these are the highest levels of devotional service which are mentioned in Bhagavatam. At least at our level, we should be careful so that our devotional service may not become mixed. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Any questions anybody has?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very, very eye-opening session about realizing what is real pure bhakti and where we should be careful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And I request Radha Jyoti Mataji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for allowing me to ask the questions. My humble obeisances to you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances at the lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I have
Hare Krishna.
one question. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in Nectar of Devotion, there is one statement that the mature sinful signs, how we can identify is that there are few points, and in that point there is one point that the person will be from uh, low caste. I mean, the, the person will take birth in the lower family, right? So, and in the next two chapters there is one statement in the Nectar of Devotion that the spiritual master, even if he comes from a lower caste or a lower family, he and he surrenders to Lord, then he should be accepted as an spiritual master. So it is a contradiction for me. Could you please explain? It is coming from yesterday's lecture, and then I have two questions for today's lecture.
Can you explain the first thing you said?
There is one statement in Nectar of Devotion that in the points of mature sinful, uh, one statement is a person
Okay.
is
Understood. Yeah. Okay. So we have to understand that depending on the previous karmic activities, somebody may have taken birth in the sinful species or in condemned families. But the process of devotional service is so powerful, one becomes completely purified of all these contaminations. अप्रारब्ध फलम पापम कूटम बीजम फलोन्मुखम क्रमेणैव प्रलीयेत विष्णु भक्ति रतात्मना. Prabhupada quotes the translation, puts the translation of this in Nectar of Devotion, first chapter. Whatever sinful reactions which are yet to manifest, which are manifesting, the sinful inclinations, the seed of sinful reactions, they are all destroyed gradually by the practice of pure devotional service. So now, taking birth in the lower family, that is the manifestation of past life sinful activities, prarabdha. However, there may be cases of some pure devotees who have taken birth in the condemned families. Example is Haridas Thakur. He was born in Malicha family. But that was not because of his sinful birth, sinful past life. That was the desire of Krishna. Krishna, he put him in that family to glorify the process of devotional service, that whoever you may be, it doesn't matter which family you take birth. And even if somebody is taking birth in lower family because of past life sinful activity, if he takes to Krishna consciousness, he's purified. There is no contradiction in that. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, he is purified of all the sins. He is aho bata shapacho ato gariyan yad jihvagre vartate nama tubhyam te putapahte juhu shashnurarya brahmanuchur nama grinanti ete. Devahuti is speaking this verse. Shapacha, even if somebody is born in the family of dog eaters, yad jihvagre vartate nama tubhyam, is chanting the name of Lords every day, every moment. You should understand he has already performed all the ritualistic purificatory ceremonies, all the yajnik rituals. Brahmanuchara nama grinanti ete. Anybody who's chanting the name of the Lord is completely purified soul. There is no contradiction. Okay.
He is a very qualified Brahmana, and if he chants and surrenders 100%, he becomes a pure Vaishnava. That is also one more statement.
Yeah.
Does he qualifies to become a spiritual master? So, Prabhuji, and I have a second question about this faith. So, Prabhuji, please correct me. I'll share my understanding. Say, when a devotee, when he starts doing bhakti as per Vedic bhakti, it is a pure devotional service. But if in the process he finds some problem and he is taking some advantage of pure devotional service, and he is bringing money in the service. It's like he's doing devotional service and he's taking money, even if it is a temple.
then it will be not in pure devotional service, right? Because there is a material desire involved. So how this will be a pure devotional service?
Okay. So, what is the primary intention of that devotee? That is the question. Is that devotee doing devotional service only to get this material wealth? Or because he has to maintain his family also, so he's doing some seva and he's taking Lakshmi from temple for his services. If that is the case, he's not a mixed devotee. Because the primary intention is not to get money. Primary intention is to serve Krishna, but because he has family, because he has material needs, so he is doing some seva and taking some money because anyways he is not doing anything else. So he has to maintain his body. So that doesn't make him a lesser devotee. So that we should be very clear. There are many people who are working for the temple. There are many employees, devotees who are working in the temple. So that does that mean that they are not practicing pure devotional service? No, it is not like that. Their primary intention is not to make money. Their primary intention of practicing bhakti is to love Krishna, to surrender to Krishna. That is their goal. Their goal is not to become rich. They will become rich, they may earn good money, but that is not their primary goal. Okay, so this primary intention matters.
So in the contrary, if he makes, it is not the matter of money and he does devotional service for his prestige, like puja, la pratishtha, then it becomes impure devotional service. Is my understanding correct?
Yes. If he is doing bhakti only to get name, fame, prestige, wealth, and this desire to please Krishna becomes secondary, then he is practicing mixed devotion. It may happen. That's why we have to be really careful. In due course of our services, as soon as we start getting name, fame, followers, respect, money, we may forget Krishna as our main goal. And our main intention may be to get more and more of these material things. So that's how we have to be really careful. That's what Mahaprabhu tells Sanatana Goswami, that as we are practicing this seed of Bhaktilata Beach, there are weeds which grow. Kutinati Pratisthasha Jiva Himsan Puja Lava Pratisthati at Upashakha Gana. These are the weeds. So we have to uproot these weeds. Otherwise, these weeds will choke up our Bhaktilata Beach. Our pure devotion will become mixed devotion. Okay?
Yes. And Prabhuji, you mentioned about this faith 5 verses from somewhere, I don't know, from Bhakti
I think
Vinod
one
Thakur
devotee,
ji.
Pitambar Prabhu, has put on the group.
That
You
link
can
is not
put
working.
on the chat.
That link is not working.
Okay, Mataji, I will share the actual.
You can put the message, Prabhuji, on the
Yes,
group,
the long.
on
It
the
was a
chat.
long
Thank you
one,
so much,
so
Prabhuji. Eternally grateful to you, and
no
please
problem.
give your
It
association
was
in the
it was a
future
long
also.
one, but
Yeah.
therefore I
No
shared
problem.
only the link.
You can just, yes.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Radha Damodar Prabhu, you can please ask your question.
Sure. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class. So, Prabhuji, when we are practicing Tama Bhakti, but we have our family members also, we have, we need to satisfy their requirements as well. So sometimes we will have to, do things in a ritualistic way to satisfy everyone. So are we breaking the Uttama Bhakti or getting into mixed Bhakti at that stage?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji, for asking this important question. This is very important to understand. In what circumstances we can do some Vedic rituals, like Shraddha and some other, Vastu and all that. If our family members or our relatives, they are very much, pushing us to do this. And if we don't do these things, they will make our life miserable and they will never come close to Krishna. So what we should do is just to satisfy them. Okay, you want it? Please do it. We should not put our faith in these rituals. We should not feel if I will not do these things, my bhakti will not grow. 17th chapter Bhagavad Gita, last verse is the answer. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapas taptam kritam chayat asad iti uchyate partha nacha tat pretya no iha. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter, 28th verse, anything done without putting faith, ashraddhaya, without faith, you do anything, hutam, dattam, you do some yajna or dana or tapa or whatever you do, you will not get the reaction of those activities. You will not get the result of those activities. So that is very, very important to understand. If our family members and our relatives are saying, you will not do this Shraddha, this ISKCON is doing all garbad in your life. Why are you going to all these? These are lifelong, this is a long tradition. You should give up all this ISKCON and other things. They are not allowing you to do rituals of the family. They will make our life miserable. So what we should do? Do it. Sit in that ritual, no problem. Chant mantras, no problem. But don't put faith in those mantras. Okay? If we are putting faith in those activities, then our faith gets contaminated. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Again, Radha Jyoti Mataji, you can please ask your question.
Yes, Mataji. Prabhuji, you mentioned about the faith. Say a person is practicing, a follower is practicing pure devotional service, and it happens that the faith is deteriorating. And you said that we cannot understand when it happens in the process, right? In devotional service, we cannot understand what exactly happens to us until and until we are guided by our gurus or spiritual teachers and seniors. So, what will happen to my japa if my faith is deteriorating?
Deteriorating means what?
Means you said that the faith will be damaged, right? You mentioned that.
See, the activities, they will decide our faith. If we are putting faith in some other rituals, then our faith in bhakti will go down. We'll do our chanting ritualistically. If I am taking shelter of other devatas, we will never develop that taste in chanting. That is as simple as that. If you're not depending on Krishna, then Krishna will not give us the taste in chanting. We'll keep on chanting for millions of lives. Bahujanma kore yadi shravan kirtan tabutana paye Krishna pade prem dham. Okay. So
And
that is the
Prabhuji, here
result.
in Maharashtra, we do celebrate that Ganpati festival, right? So we have Gauri Ganesh. So we say that the Gauri Ganesh, the Gauri herself is Mahalakshmi Roop, which is Srimati Radharani herself, and she comes on the same day when the Mahalakshmi comes at our house. So doing service to her, is it equivalent to devotional service?
I'm not sure about all these things, Mataji. I
Okay,
am not
Prabhuji,
sure about
eternally
these
grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much Prabhuji for this session. Prabhuji, when these things that is there in the Shastras, if they take the help of astrology, and those things for the purpose of bhakti, for the purpose of service. Like for example, even Srila Prabhupada was wearing the rings, some rings as per the astrology, and Srila Prabhupada doesn't do anything in the Thursday afternoon. So those things are there. So how do we see if it is on the platform of for the service of Lord?
Srila Prabhupada's actions and instructions We just see few of the actions. Just two things he did. He wore some rings and he didn't travel on Tuesdays or Thursdays or whatever. But has he ever spoken anything on these? Has he ever told his disciples to wear rings? That is important. I'll again show you a verse. It is 10th canto, 33rd chapter, I think 34th or 35th verse. This is a section where Parikshit Maharaj asks a question to Shukdev Goswami after Ras Leela. How can Krishna do this? Krishna came to establish the principles of dharma. Krishna is Vakta, Karta, Abhirakshita, Sashta. So can somebody just, he says,
Prabhuji, do you want us to share?
he tells very wonderful, yeah, 10, 33, 34 or something, where Parikshit Maharaj asks a question. I'll just tell you. Vakta, Karta. This is 27, 10, 33, 26, 27. So here, Parikshit Maharaj is asking a question. He's telling, how can Krishna, 10, 33, 26, 27. He says that Krishna, Sansthapanaya dharmasya prashamaye tarasya cha avatirno hi bhagavan amshena jagadishvara. Sansthapanaya dharma, to establish dharma, to subdue the miscreants. Lord appeared along with his Amsha Balramji. Sakatham dharma setunam vakta karta abhirakshita. He is the vakta of dharma principles. He is the executor and he is the protector. Pratipamacharat Brahman is acting in opposite way. Pardhara vimarshanam. He is touching other men's wives. What is this? Now, Shukdev Goswami, what he replies, that is very important. Very logical question. Many people may speak. So after few verses, Shukdev Goswami, he speaks. Dharma vyatikramo drashta ishwaranam cha sahasam tejiyasam na doshaye vahne sarva bhujo yatha. Never ever find faults with the great personalities. They may do something, they will not be affected. That does not mean Srila Prabhupada was doing something wrong. We don't even know why he was wearing those rings. Okay, somebody gave, oh, these are some natural stones. Please wear, Prabhupada, good for health. That stones, Srila Prabhupada didn't wear those stones thinking that they will have some Devata's mercy. He'll get some Devata's mercy. We can't even understand what Srila Prabhupada thought when he wore those rings. But what we can understand is what he spoke. So now please show that. The next is also very important. Next verse is very important. Even if you find some contradiction between the actions and the instructions of a great personality, what you should do. Just like, these are some small things which, these two things devotees always tell. Prabhupada also didn't travel on Wednesdays or Tuesdays. He also wore some rings. First is what Srila Prabhupada had in his mind, nobody knows. And another thing is, if you find the instructions and the actions, there is some difference. What you should do. So he says, he gives an example, never imitate the behavior of the ruling personalities, you will be destroyed. Next verse. Next verse is also important. That is the main thing which I wanted to show. Ishwaranam vacha satyam na tathaiva acharitam kochit tesham yat svavacho yuktam buddhimam stat samacharit. The statements of Lord's empowered servants are always true, and the acts they perform are exemplary when consistent with those statements. Okay? Therefore, one who is intelligent should carry out their instructions. So, if we find something which is not often done by Prabhupada, but Prabhupada has never spoken to anyone. Yes, you can stop this sharing. Prabhupada has never spoken, never instructed any devotee to go to astrologer. In fact, there are many opposite examples. Vishal Prabhu, one of the Prabhupada disciples, he tells in the memories, it is there. He was in Vrindavan, he went to some astrologer and he gave him some rings or something. He went to Prabhupada and said, "What are you wearing?" He said, "Prabhupada, I went to this person and he said, you wear this and your problem will be solved." Prabhupada said, "It is not needed." Satswarup Das Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj, Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj, his family, somebody died and they were calling him for Shraddha ceremony. He went to Prabhupada and said, "Prabhupada, should I go?" Prabhupada said, "Not needed, but if you like, you can go." Maharaj didn't go. So nowhere in his entire life, Prabhupada has told any devotee to follow all these rituals. Because Prabhupada was very, very careful. If you give a little bit of concession, then they will get into it completely. They'll forget pure devotional service and they'll just take shelter of astrology. So I can show you some of the, exact things. Just a minute. Okay. This is Prabhupada speaking to Pradyumna Prabhu. He is speaking about Prabhupada. Once he asked Prabhupada about astrology. It is from folio, but I have just copied it. I'm not opening that folio. I'm not sharing the screen. I'm just reading it, what Pradyumna Prabhu is saying. He said, "Once I was in Hyderabad and I asked Prabhupada about astrology because he was interested in astrology. So he asked, "What about astrology? Is it a part of Vaishnavism? Do you use astrology?" Because Nilambar Chakravarti was astrologer, grandfather of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they also knew astrology very well. Prabhupada said, "The Vaishnava attitude and Siddhanta is whatever may come, may come. We don't care. But if you know it's going to rain, it's better to have an umbrella." Again, he repeated it. So our philosophy is, as Kulakshekar Maharaj says, whatever may come by your mercy, let it come. That is our philosophy. So Srila Prabhupada never ever promoted astrology. He never told anyone to go to astrologer to solve his problems. It is very, very important, Otherwise, Prabhupada, another time he told another devotee, Chaitanya Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he was telling in 1975, so one of the devotees' husband, Kanupriya, he went and studied astrology in London for 6 months. And he came back and he began doing astrological charts for devotees. And then he thought, maybe I should ask Srila Prabhupada about it. What is his opinion about astrology? So he went and told Prabhupada, I've learned some astrology and I want to know if it is right if I do charts for devotees. Prabhupada said, "Oh, you're doing astrology. So can you tell me when will be the date when we will buy our new building for the New York temple?" So of course, he said, "No, Prabhupada, that I can't tell." Prabhupada said, this is because you have to study Hora astrology. Hora astrology is another astrology. He said, that's mathematics. And it takes at least 10 years to learn it. And Prabhupada tells him, my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was very learned astrologer. He was the last bona fide living astrologer on this planet. Prabhupada says that. And then Prabhupada makes a very important statement. He says, doing astrology charts for devotees, you can sometimes know the future. But our philosophy is whatever will be, will be. We simply chant Hare Krishna. So best you do not do astrology charts for devotees because they will start worshipping astrology and forget about Krishna. That is what is happening nowadays. It is so very important to understand when the devotees, they go to astrologers. The astrologers may tell the same things, exact things which have happened in devotees' life. And devotees will say, wow, astrology works. He has told all the good things, all the right things. But our main thing is when we come to Krishna consciousness, we are not under the control of karma. We are under the control of Krishna. Karma is destroyed by the beginning stages of devotional practice. Now, why astrologers can predict the same exact thing which is happening in the life of a devotee? Krishna maintains that, preserves that, so that these people, they can continue their faith in those sciences. He allows that. Chakravarti Thakur writes this. Just to maintain the faith of these karmakandiya people in these rituals and in these sciences, Krishna allows them to make these predictions very accurate. But still, it is not according to karma. It is Krishna working in the life of a devotee. So that is how we have to understand these things, Mataji. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
One last question, Prabhu. You were talking, it is not correct to go to demigods for health reasons or anything, but it is okay to go to doctor. Can you please once again clarify that? How, in what way I should understand that?
Going to doctor means when it comes to going to devatas, there is some divinity involved in that. Going to doctors, there is no divinity involved in that. We know these doctors, they will give me some material medicines and my disease will get cured. So we don't start putting our faith in those doctors thinking that these doctors are so very wonderful and my bhakti is useless. We know that bhakti is transcendental science. This is material science. But when it comes to devatas, because it is not material, it's not completely material, no? It is subtle level of reality. It is not gross material, it is subtle material. So the danger is we will start putting more faith in those subtle realities and we will destroy our faith. Our faith will get mixed. So that is the difference between going to devatas and going to doctors for solving our material problems. Okay.
Thank you so much. But still, going to doctor, is it karma mishra?
No, that we have to maintain our body, right?
Why not totally depend on
We have to
Krishna?
keep our body healthy.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that if you have some loose motion, you say, I will chant more and my stomach will get okay. That is not karma mishra. Karma mishra bhakti means you go to Krishna, you go to devatas for some material benedictions. I want the results of my activities and I am taking shelter of Krishna for this. That is karma mishra. I'm doing bhakti, but I want some material benefits from it. Now my body is in trouble. I have to take care of my body. And Krishna also says you have to take care of the body. Yukta ahara, yukta vihara, yukta cheshta. You know, Krishna has given all these instructions so that my body, unless the body is fit, we can't practice. But to go to Devatas to solve our material bodily issues, we are risking our faith. We have to take care of the body. We have to do the needful. We can't say, Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha toha. If we are at that level, Krishna may take care of us. But if we are not at that level, and if we are artificially doing some, devotional service, we will destroy our faith by acting at a level where we are not. Just like Srivas Thakur said, I will tie a stone in the Ganga and jump in Ganga if I clap 3 times and whatever I need is not provided by Krishna. That was his faith. And Krishna was providing him. But it is never, said that, okay, when you are diseased, don't go to doctor. That is a natural thing which everybody has to do. Take care of the body, that is must. Body is not right. We can't do your devotional service properly. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You pay obeisances to
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu Gaur Vilas Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dear devotees,